The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at wrestlingwithjohners.com.
Welcome everybody to another episode of We Have Yet to Name This interview series, but we're here with the one, the only, the Tower of Power, Amira. Welcome.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. And joining me as always is our lovely co-host, Sarah. How are you doing this afternoon?
Well, it's nice for finally getting a little break in the weather. Kind of these heat waves, it's hitting the 40s, so it's nice compared to the snow.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Sarah is located off in New York. Me and Amir are in the Pacific Northwest. We only get snow when it turns into ice and turns our life into
It
living
cancels
hell for
everything,
like 2 weeks. Yeah. We don't know how to drive. We barely know how to drive when it rains, and it rains constantly here.
Yeah. Snow's a whole other beast.
So tell me what you did this weekend. I know that you probably hit some people.
Yeah, so I was up in Canada for Boom Pro Wrestling, and they did their yearly women's show, the Coco Harriet Invitational, and then we did another show on Saturday, which is their big Rumble. Yeah, it was 2 long days. You can hear my voice is like semi-gone from it. It was a lot of fun. It was a really great show up there.
Yeah. So let's talk about how it all started for you. I've actually known you since the first day of training.
It's true, yeah. Yeah, so I didn't watch wrestling until I was an adult. And it was an ex-boyfriend that showed it to me when I broke my ankle and had nothing else to watch. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of into this. And then when I was healed up, I went to some live shows with the first Roseland, Prestige Roseland being my first show ever. And I kept going to shows. I'm like, yeah, I could probably do this. This seems like something I could do. So after COVID kind of settled down, that's when Oregon Pro Wrestling opened. And that's when we met.
Yeah.
And yeah, the rest is history. I'm constantly bruised and in pain, but I love it.
Yeah. The one thing that always stood out for me is like you were there to fucking work. Like the amount of work that you put in just in the first 4 months that we were together. I mean, like it was literally like they would put us into matches constantly, and I would always be like, "Am I hitting you too hard?" And she was always like, "No, bitch, hit me harder." Literally,
Yep, that's
those
pretty
are
much me.
probably lived. And you kind of took a role in Oregon Pro as kind of like mother figure to a lot of us, even though several of us were older than you by quite much. But you also are kind of the ones that we all guided towards, like, all right, what do you do? What are we doing? Like, how did you kind of come into that role? And it was very natural. It wasn't like you're like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm taking it. You kind of just fell into it.
Yeah. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that I was already in a manager position at work. So it was like a natural thing. Or if it comes from teaching kids and stuff when I was in high school. But I don't know, something about it, I really wanted all of us to go all in.
Yeah.
And I wanted us to feel confident. So I just it's like, okay, let's do this. I'm gonna do my best to figure it out, and that way we can all just kind of go for it full force. Even to this day, I feel like I'm kind of the one that's like, okay, guys, let's go. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is just caring about the people and caring about the school. Because I want everybody to be successful. I don't want it to be just me. But yeah.
And there's definitely been some killer talent that's come out of Oregon Pro. Like, I mean, we have the Flaming Aces,
Yep.
Sledge and Jackhammer, the Hammer Bros.
No, just Sledge.
Yeah, just Sledge. We definitely have, or Jack. And then we also have new people coming out, which is Dangerous and Dove, Elise. So there's so many new talent. How is it seeing from like working with them since their day one into seeing them progress into what you see today?
It's kind of crazy because, yeah, I am there at the school like all the time.
Hmm.
So it's very likely that I was there for all of their first roles,
Hmm.
just like their first day, learning everything that they could and being scared and not
Yeah.
knowing what was going on and just seeing the look of confusion and then slowly watch that confusion turn into confidence.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see that progression and even seeing like there's something that they struggled with, but then they overcame it. Um, but yeah, I feel like at this point, it's like the Oregon Pro experience to just here's Ricky and then here's Amira. Yep.
Absolutely.
Like,
So tell us about, oh, go ahead, sir.
so tell us what the time frame was. You said you weren't really into wrestling growing up. You got introduced to it from a boyfriend. What's the time frame from when you got into it versus when you started training?
Um, so I think it was about 2019 that I got into pro wrestling. And then, gosh, when did we start? Like
2000,
2022?
no, June 21.
Oh, 21, yeah. So
June
yeah,
23rd was our first day.
there you go. You got it better down than I do. Yeah, so I guess 2019 I got into it. 2021, that's when I started training. Yeah, that makes sense. You're so right. I can't believe I just cannot remember the stuff.
Well, I have a little bit less CTE probably going
Yeah,
on,
I'm
so
gonna
it's a little
bonk to my head a
easier.
lot.
Yeah. So, okay, we talked kind of about your training, how you got into wrestling. I think I was there for your first match. Was it at Defy Rumble?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because that was right before Queen of Thorns. I did the Defy Rumble outside,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it was definitely like one of those like, let's get her out there, get her jitters out. So she's gonna be ready for her bigger debut for DOA. That was wild. That was a crazy experience. I definitely
Yeah.
hadn't put on any fake tanner yet. So it's a different Amira for sure.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think it was necessarily planned that you were going to have that match. I think it was kind of
No,
like, yeah,
yeah, it was
I
a
kind
very
of
last
remember a little
minute.
bit. Yeah, I was super excited for you
Yeah, no, I
because,
was glad you were there.
and I think I was there for your first Queen of Thorns tournament, which you had lost to, I don't remember who you had lost to
It
originally,
was too young.
Su Young. And then
Yep.
this year, you ended up, or I guess in 2023, you were the winner of it. How did that feel? Because that was a huge moment.
Yeah. There's a lot of sentimental value, like just in DOA as
Hmm.
a promotion, because I feel like they give a lot of us our first shot.
Hmm.
And especially for me, I got to go against a former Impact like knockouts wrestler.
Hmm.
And then for a year later, for them to be like for me to be in that position where I'm winning. Like as soon as I was done with everything, I could not help but cry because it was all these fans who had seen me do ring crew
Hmm.
and then they saw me debut and they saw me win Queen of Thorns. So it was just like one of those full circle moments that made me kind of feel like I was in the place that I belonged. It was really cool. So very grateful for it.
Also, speaking of full circle, you actually went to your first Roseland show, and then the last Roseland show, you went up against Drexel in probably one of my favorite matches, not just of yours or Prestige, but of all time. You and Drexel absolutely killed it. I even text you. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm crying. It's so beautiful." Talk to us about how that kind of came about. Like, whose idea was it to put you in a death match? Also, before I begin, Sarah usually does not like death matches, and I was like, Sarah, you need to. I don't care what you do in your life. You need to go watch this match.
I did watch it. Remember, I texted you after I watched it. She told me to watch it. I was like, yeah, this is a pretty good match.
Nice. Well, that's really thank you for all the compliments. Um, yeah, I don't know. It was one of those things where the promoter of Prestige, he was like, "Yeah, I have you booked for Roseland, but would you wrestle Drexel?" And I was like, yeah, I'd wrestle Drexel.
Yeah.
And so it kind of went on from there. So it started the storytelling with the Hawthorne show
Hmm.
into Roseland. And it was one of those things where the story was there. It was something that we could get people invested in because it was so, it was another one of those full circle moments. And I feel like when you get that in pro wrestling, you kind of have to just take advantage of it because it's such a good way to get people invested in a story. Um, and I remember the first Roseland show I ever went to, Drexel did a death match, and I was so like into it. I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. Um, really messed up, I guess, but and that's why for the match we actually set it up like the first Roseland death match with the doors and the kiddie pool. It
Hmm.
was kind of a tribute to that. But yeah, it was one of those things where like leading up to it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's totally fine,
Yeah.
whatever. And then the day of, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm actually doing this. There's the doors, there's the barbed wire. Here we go. It's probably one of the weirdest experiences in wrestling too. Just like the feelings and everything is so different.
Yeah, I mean that was just an awesome match. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you guys can go to IWTV, check out Prestige Roseland 7, was it?
Yeah. Hmm.
7. The fact that I was able to remember a number with that is pretty impressive today.
It's
I know you're not impressed as well.
Tell me a little bit about what your future goals look like.
um well, future goals. I definitely want to hit at least I want to keep hitting new states and new areas for shows because I want to get out there more. I try to set like I'm going to hit this many states in this amount of time.
Hmm.
So I actually have a date coming up in April for Uprising Women's Athletes in Indiana,
Hmm.
so that would be really cool. That'll be a new state.
Yeah.
Um, and then also just working on like again getting my name out there, trying to get on those major platforms, whether it be AW, WWE, Impact, something. Um,
Yeah.
Wrestling means a lot to me, and getting to touch as many lives as I can with it is my ultimate goal. I just want to make people happy. So getting kind of to do that and reach as many people as I can is like one of the best things in the world. So new states, new countries even, and just working up to that next level.
Now you have a new Texas Pro show coming up, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was. That's one of the few indies. Like sometimes I'll try to watch the indie or like indies to see where I want to go photograph, and so like I'll pull it up on IWTV and be like, okay, this is one of them. So that's actually really cool that that's one of the ones that are on my list.
Yeah, no, it was last year I got to go and do Mission Pro
Mhm.
in San Antonio, so that was really cool. And then yeah, getting another opportunity to return to a different part of Texas because I'm doing New Texas and then another promotion that's nearby. Um, yeah, I'm excited. I'm doing a double shot in a different state is really cool.
Yeah. Before we go into the next segment, Sarah, do you have any questions about career and such?
Yeah, so I got one. This past year, past couple months, we've seen your name pop up on not only, PWI's top 250 women, where you were in the 230s, I believe, somewhere around there. And then we saw a new list. I can't remember who put it out, but it was like the top 100 indie wrestlers to watch out for. And you made that list as well. What's, what's your emotions? What are your thoughts, when you first see your name come up on these lists?
Um, it's definitely one of those moments where I sometimes like my imposter syndrome kind of kicks in. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I am as good as this list says I am, but it's like one of those moments too where it's super humbling that not only are other people watching what I'm doing, but they're like paying attention to the little details and they're paying attention to the work that I put in. So it's rewarding, humbling. It also like gives me like a place to go. So I'm 235 this year. Where can I go next year? Kind of thing. And to get on a list in my first year of wrestling is pretty crazy. So yeah, it's really motivating, super humbling. Um, And yeah, just a fun thing. We have the physical copy of the PWI and everything too. So
You know, the only place that I can find those type of magazines is at Winco, of all places.
oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. All right. Sarah, you got anything else?
Yeah, one other question I had. Early 2023, we saw you on Dark Elevation. What was it like being backstage there so early in your career?
Scary. It was so scary. I again, imposter syndrome. I'm like, am I even supposed to be here? Like, what if this really like they see me and they're like, wow, I don't know why we brought her here. But it turned into one of those things where it was like, no, I definitely got this. There's a reason I'm here. There's a reason why they asked me to come. And it's definitely one of those confidence boosters. And then getting to come back for ROH was a way different experience. I felt a lot more confident. Still, it's always still a little scary, especially because it's a lot bigger of a setting than I'm used to wrestling in. But a huge confidence boost and very grateful for that opportunity.
Great.
Definitely. I was so proud of you when I saw that.
Oh,
Also, when I saw Ricky get "Fuck you, Ricky" chants from the AEW crowd on, I
it's
think
so
it was
good.
Dark at the time, I was like, oh, I'm so proud of him too. Even though he's getting told "fuck off," I'm still
Yeah,
super
yeah.
proud of him. I'm proud of both of them. All right, so the next part, we're going to go into the 5 corner questions. I finally came up with a name for 2 of the things. This part is my 5 corner questions, and then Sarah will go into her lightning, or what is it? What lightning round?
Electric chair.
Electric chair round. I knew it had something to do with electricity. I'm 50-50 here. And then we'll end it off with the Royal Trivia Rumble. All
Okay.
right. So these questions are really just random. It's kind of like I put it in a generator and it just gives me 5 random questions that are either meant to be thoughtful or kind of funny. So here we're going to go start off with, what is the weirdest gift you have ever gotten?
Weirdest gift?
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one. Trying to think, because like sometimes wrestling fans will bring gifts
Mm-hmm.
to you at shows.
Yeah.
But none of them have been super weird. I feel like probably the weirdest gift was when my mom gave me my dad's ashes and a necklace.
Oh.
That's probably the weirdest gift I ever got. It was like oh, I got something for you. And then she gave that to me. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
That makes sense. It kind of, I mean, that it's kind of very beautiful, but I understand where it kind of falls into that, like, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I thought our second to last guest was going to be the top of the weird. It was a bloody foam heart. So yeah, this is definitely, and that was
Cool.
a shot, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right. Does round pizza or square pizza taste better?
You know what? I'm gonna say square pizza. There's something
Okay.
about the way it's cut, the shape. It tastes better. I think so.
There is no right or wrong answer to this, but I do feel that one is wrong. No, just kidding. I'm kidding. Do you have a favorite dinosaur?
Favorite dinosaur? Oh, okay. Trying to think about every dinosaur movie I've ever watched. Let's see.
Yeah, if somebody would ask me that, I would not know. But I was like, this is a hilarious question and something you're probably not going to get in any other podcast.
Right? Yeah. Kind of. I think like I was watching Jurassic Park. All the like weird, small but like aggressive dinosaurs. Those are great. I love those. They're kind of like me.
I was just going to say, so something you relate to. I get it.
Yeah, just small and just screaming at you.
If you had beef with a fictional character, who and what would it be? Or why would you have that beef with them?
With a fictional character. This is a good one too. I'm trying to think. You know what? Swiper from Dora the Explorer.
That
I
is,
just feel like he can't be stopped, and he needs to be stopped.
there's nothing wrong with that one. What's the worst job you've ever had previously from wrestling?
I worked at a call center for like 3 days, and it was awful. Just the way they would tell us to like talk to people and
Mhm.
like push the product but not push the product. I was like miserable. I've never been like that upset about being somewhere in my life. And then 3 days later they're like, "Hey, so you haven't made a sale yet?" I'm like, "That's okay. I would like to quit."
Oh, I know this job. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the worst job ever.
Got it. All right, Sarah, that concludes my portion.
So the electric chair here is just like random questions. Rapid fire, just say the first answer that comes to mind. Some will be wrestling related, some not.
Okay.
To you, what is the best road trip snack?
Mm.
Cheez-Its, hands down.
Her real answer should be energy drinks.
I'm trying to cut back, I promise.
It never works out. I tried.
Peace.
Um, what is your dream venue that you really wish to wrestle in one day? You just haven't yet.
Mm.
Dream venue. I feel like this will never get to happen because it shut down, but the Globe Theater was my dream venue for a while. It'll never get to happen, unfortunately.
That is a beautiful venue in Los Angeles. I'm so sad. I mean, hopefully, I'm still hopeful that somehow it will make its way
Hopefully.
back. But
Maybe, yeah.
that is historical venue for wrestling, especially in this area.
Yeah.
Favorite color for wrestling gear?
Red. Red and white, yeah. They're the best ones for my skin tones. But yeah.
When there's pictures of you up, that's what we see when the most I feel like.
Yeah.
They're also inspired. Your red and white one was inspired by who?
Eddie Guerrero, 1995. Eddie Guerrero.
Most of your gear is inspired by somebody, right? Or is
Yeah,
it just yeah?
pretty much, yeah. Because like my green gear was inspired by Masala. My first gear was like the color of Bryan Danielson's gear, but also the back was cut because of Selena's outfit from Astrodome. So it was kind of a mix of inspirations there.
If you and a bunch of the wrestlers from your Oregon Pro School wrestling group were in a horror movie, who's gonna die first?
It's gonna be Jose. It's gonna be Zay Perez.
Yeah, definitely gonna be Zay Perez.
He will die first.
Like almost willingly. Go guys, go.
He
You're
just
fine.
peeked. Zay and I live together, and he just like peeked through the kitchen. He's very offended by that.
I mean, where's the lie?
We said you'd die first in a horror movie.
Oh, accurate.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
All right, question number 5. If you could eliminate one ice cream flavor from existence, what would it be?
One ice cream flavor?
That's rude.
Bubble gum. I don't like that flavor.
Okay. And last question. If you could book a dream triple threat match with you and either WWE or AEW or a mixture, who would you want to fight in this triple threat?
I'm so tempted to give you a funny answer.
We accept all answers.
All right, so it's me, Arachnaman, great WCW spider character, and I want to say Mantar, if you're familiar with Mantar.
No, I'm actually
He
not
came
familiar with
out.
Mantar.
He came out in this like headdress that was like looked like a buffalo, but like he was a man, and he would take it off and like just awful wrestling. Probably one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
This has to be circa like 93.
Yeah, this was like kind of that era, but like I think that would be phenomenal. Here's my serious answer. Me, maybe like Jordan Grace,
Mm.
Bianca Belair. I think that could be pretty good.
All powerhouses.
All powerhouses, just nonstop power moves.
Kind of, I mean, if we saw, like, if we've ever seen two powerhouse, we saw it at the Elimination Chamber, Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. That was a holy shit match. If you haven't
Yeah.
seen it, I definitely
Mhm.
recommend it. All right, so now I forgot what I already named this game, Royal Trivia Rumble. So what I'm going to do is read the question. Please allow me to finish the question so I can look up to see who raises their hand first. I was actually going to let Sarah do this part, but then I realized it was against Amira and I got scared because I know how super smart she is. So I was like, I'm going to let Sarah do this one again. All right. The first question is, which Disney movie series has the most amount of sequels? Sarah?
Toy Story.
That is correct.
Damn. I could be bad at this game.
What color is Mickey Mouse's shoes? Sarah? Or Amira?
Yellow?
Correct.
I sure hope. Gosh.
This is an interesting question that I did not know the answer to. What is the strongest human muscle? Where is the strongest human muscle located? Sarah?
Get the brain.
It is not the brain.
I don't know.
All right. It is actually the jaw.
Oh.
Yeah,
All right,
I did not.
cool.
I was like, all right, I'm gonna put that in there just because I think that's super entertaining to know. What galaxy do we live in?
The galaxy. Why am I doubting myself?
Oh, Amir?
It's the Milky Way.
It is the Milky Way. Who gave the US the Statue of Liberty? Sarah?
That would be France.
Correct. Which famous wall is visible from space? Amira?
The Great Wall of China.
Correct. All right, we are tied 3-3. So this could be the winner of it all. Who painted the Mona Lisa? Amira?
Da Vinci.
Correct. All
or Da
right.
Vinci, as some people would say.
Yeah, however you want to say it. That was another trivia game that I asked way too many hard questions. I was like really thinking about like different ones, and I usually just randomly grab it, which is usually a better time for that. Amira, where can they find you?
So I am on Instagram as Amira is Squirrel, like the animal squirrel. And then I am on Twitter as Amira is Wrestler. I'm on Facebook too, which is pretty easy to find me by my name. So yeah, those are the main places.
And Sarah, where can they find you?
Our usual, Buckle Bomb Entertainment links. Find us on TikTok, Buckle Bomb Entertainment. On Twitter, Buckle Bomb ENT. Same for Instagram, and of course on Facebook for Buckle Bomb Entertainment.
Amira, do you have anything in closing?
Yeah, come to a show. Check out some of the promotions in Portland if you're in Portland. There's a DOA on March 2nd. And then I am wrestling just about every single weekend. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll get to see where I'm at. Hopefully come out to a show.
Definitely. And make sure you buy some of her merch. You can always find us on Facebook, Spotify, and all podcasting places. Just find us on Buckle Bomb Entertainment. Thank you all. See you guys next time.